Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Calynn Lawrence, and I'm the founder of the Holistic Healing Source for Marginalized Society. Thank you so much for joining us for today's training. Just a little bit of background about my education. I have a doctorate in pastoral counseling. I'm a multi board certified trauma specialist and a credentialed neurocriminology and neuropsychotherapy professional. Just wanted to give you that rundown before we get into the lesson. I am very excited for you all to join us. So I'll go ahead and share and get started with the course for today. All right. Social determinants of health. What are they and how can we mitigate them? Social determinants of health are the conditions that people live in, work in, learn in, and play in, and how these conditions affect health and quality as well as length of life. Social determinants of health are influenced by the distribution of power, money, and resources. Black, Indigenous, and people of color, i.e., BIPOC, are disproportionately affected by economic disparities, which leads to substandard health promotion and increased physical and mental behavioral health risks. Because of this, racial justice is a life or death issue that needs to begin now. How do these things impact the quality and length of life in low income BIPOC populations? Across hundreds of studies, the average life expectancy for whites in the US is almost always higher than Black and or Latinx counterparts. This is largely due to social determinants of health such as, but not only, housing instability. This causes immense stress and worsening of mental health, as well as the possibility of being exposed to harsh living conditions that can physically impact health in shelters or on the street. Education inequalities, significantly lower quality or quantity of school facilities, instructional, administrative, and support staff, supplementary resources, extracurricular programs, and behavioral interventions lead to much lower academic achievements and higher levels of poverty among BIPOC populations when compared to whites. Poor access to health care. This causes the undertreated or untreating or untreated worsening of chronic health conditions and the misdiagnosis or non-diagnosis of life-threatening ailments that could be avoided if given proper access to quality care. The Black and Brown prison pipeline. I'm very passionate about legal system reform. If you watched my doctoral capstone project, I did an entire capstone project dedicated to legal system reform, especially through a holistic lens with a focus on the Black and Brown prison pipeline. This creates an exponentially greater risk for Black and Brown people, especially males and especially youth, to become incarcerated, which spirals into a variety of long lasting negative effects on their life from psychosocial, physical, and economic perspectives. Hazardous exposures. Under-resourced neighborhoods often have exposures to harmful elements due to insufficient financial means. Lack of proper spiritual care. Faith is at the core of well-being and resilience for many people, with up to 73% agreeing that their life has no purpose or hope without a connection to a higher power. There is an urgent need for more diversity in spiritual care options outside of Christianity. And spiritual care needs to be more holistic and trauma informed to provide maximum inclusivity, relevance, and impact for the best outcomes on the most people. So, how do these things impact the quality and length of life in low income BIPOC populations? Social determinants of health impact a person's direct access to and quality of resources that are fundamental to a person's overall well being and happiness. Research suggests that a holistic intervention strategy at the socio political level, similar to below in the chart you see on the screen, could create a drastic change in bearings. In the negative bearings of many social determinants of health by prioritizing the mitigation of the highest threats. As you can see in the chart, they have them ranked by order of impact and um, intensity as it relates to the overall health, quality, and quantity of life of marginalized populations. As you can see, healthcare access and quality is right there at number one. You also have environmental factors, economic stability is not far behind, so on and so forth. So you can see that these are very real threats to the overall well-being of BIPOC and marginalized populations. So, a multifaceted approach to solve a multifaceted issue is what would be best for addressing these social determinants of health. How can we contribute to positive change and create a more diverse, equitable, inclusive society? Many qualitative studies have recorded and compiled the desires for progressive change at various levels and using numerous methods to benefit the BIPOC population and expand lifespan and experience, many of them recording similar themes. In a recent study conducted by BMC Public Health, interviewing 21 doctoral level public health experts from a diverse array of practices, backgrounds, and specialties on their scientific and personal opinions on the best methods to improve social determinants of health, 7 commonalities were noted: justice, integration, acceptance, participation, adaptation, flourishing, and cohesion. The study concluded that improving social determinants of health for under-resourced populations, especially post-COVID, requires a multidimensional, comprehensive plan of action that touches on all 7 areas, starting at the federal level down to the local community level. The first step in how you can make a change is vote. It has been collectively concluded by hundreds of studies over the past few decades that wide-scale improvement in the overall well-being of BIPOC communities needs to begin in a top-down strategy by first implementing federal policies, programs, and laws to guarantee equity at the national level. This involves tackling high-impact inequalities, such as dismantling the Black and Brown school to prison pipeline, creating access to effective care, investing into fair opportunities for economic advancement, and fostering safe environments for communities to thrive. When we vote, we play a direct role in selecting the most powerful leaders in our society. If we think our vote doesn't matter or is unimportant, remember that a single vote, not 100, not 10, one, a single vote can throw an entire election that could have disastrous consequences. If we don't love either candidate, always prioritize, quote unquote, the lesser of two evils, because some progress is better than none. If you are serious about advancing DEIB by any means necessary, that means you will take the pragmatic approach when you have to over being apathetic and taking no action at all because you don't get the choice that you would most prefer. If you are serious about fostering change, you have to be able to get it by whatever means necessary. So if you are someone who may not be in love with any of the candidates, really, even if you're looking at third party candidates and independent candidates, which that's a whole nother conversation for another day on why, at least in the US, voting for those people is not going to sway the overall election in favor of the values you're pursuing. I mean, we're a bipartisan country. We're a two-party political system. Honestly, the other parties are just there to appease a small minority, but they don't have enough power or backing or funding to actually become elected, especially if you're talking about major positions of office like the president or even like the governor. They just don't have the resources or the manpower. They just don't have it. So if you're going to be pragmatic about your vote and you want to put your eggs in the basket that has the best chance of winning, you're going to vote between the two main parties of Democrat or Republican, depending on what your values are. However, if you're concerned with the advancement of DEIB, you would obviously vote Democrat if that's something that's actually of importance to you. If we don't do this, then we run the risk of having a lot of people not vote who could have really made a difference in a high stakes election, which we have seen with 2025. So, keeping that in mind is very crucial. Alongside using your power to vote for politicians and leaders at the national, state, and local levels who yield the authority to create these changes, you can do other things that incrementally contribute towards progress daily as well. The first thing you can do is volunteer. Serve your community by offering your time and talent to local causes. Many nonprofits and public organizations such as schools, churches, shelters, social service agencies, youth programs, community centers, libraries, and parks need volunteers to help advance their mission. Running on ultra lean budgets limits their hiring capacity greatly. Thus, if you can afford to offer your time and skill set to assist a local cause in reaching their goals and helping more people, you are making a positive impact on the world. In a post COVID world, a lot of volunteer opportunities can even be done virtually from the comfort of your home. Whether it's packing boxes, serving food to the unhoused, setting up or breaking down at events, doing admin work, offering free services, or something else, volunteering is a wonderful way to be productive in your free time. To think about how impactful it could be with just a small amount of time donated every year. If 100 people did 10 hours of volunteering a year, less than 1 hour a month, that's saving the nonprofit that they're volunteering for half a year's salary of a full-time employee and an entire year's salary of a part-time employee if that employee would have been part-time. So if 100 people did 10 hours a year, less than one a month, that could save that nonprofit tens of thousands of dollars in budget that could be better spent going towards actually helping the people who are participants and beneficiaries of their cause. Next, donate. Support local charities by making donations of any size or type because every bit helps. Because nonprofits run on such lean budgets and prioritize community service over generating revenue, they rely on the generosity of others to fund many of their programs and initiatives. This usually includes a combination of government grants, individual contributions, in kind partnerships, and major gifts from wealthy people or large corporations. While we may not think that we have much to give, even donating $100 a year, $100 a year, that's less than 28 cents a day. That is less than $9 a month. Can add up to a 5-figure lump sum to fund a life-saving resource or opportunity if 100 families committed to that. 100 families committed to donating less than 28 cents a day, less than $9 a month, $100 a year. That could be a 5-figure lump sum that provides life-saving resources or opportunities. Or we may not feel that our gently used clothing, coats, electronics, or other high demand items would be useful to others, but they could also be someone's saving grace. So, if you want to especially optimize your financial contribution, be intentional to donate during Giving Tuesday, where large corporations will match you. So, whatever it is that you want to donate, gently used coats, electronics, other high demand items, etc., those could all be saving graces. That coat that you're giving someone when it's the frigid cold or giving to their kid, they're going to remember that forever. That could be the difference between their child and pneumonia, their child in some critical illness that could have been avoided if they had the proper gear to deal with the frigid cold. So keep that in mind. Also, again, keep Giving Tuesday at the forefront. Maximize your donation by doing it during a time where major corporations are matching. Advocate. Use your voice to raise awareness about causes you support. Advocacy can take many forms via protesting, signing petitions, publishing digital content on your blog, social media, podcast, or YouTube, or even just making the effort to talk about the hard things with people you know personally. Being brave and passionate enough to promote the equitable welfare of humanity is to be commended, and a quality that we should all strive to cultivate. There is no way to educate the masses on problems in the world that need attention or support without talking about it. So, whether it's being a political commentator online, a proud activist on the front lines, or simply calling out your associates when they do or say harmful things that are discriminatory, harmful, or anti progress, your voice has sway. Make sure you use it to advocate. Dedicate. This would be a lifelong commitment. Be the change you desire to see in the world by dedicating your life to improving your community with a career in the human services, public sector, or nonprofit industries. If you have a fiery zeal to make a direct difference each and every day in the lives of others, especially marginalized populations, you should consider a career in one of the following: educators, so teachers, professors, school administration, etc. Healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, therapists, clinical leadership, etc. Social workers and case managers, nonprofit management, law, public policy, and criminal justice, ministry. Even if the financial sacrifice of foregoing a career in a private for profit industry is not something your circumstances can allow long term, you should still consider it even for a short time period. Imagine how much good you could do if you dedicated only 5 years of a 30-plus year career to serving the needs and improving the outcomes of marginalized groups in one of the roles that I just described, most of which are under resourced and understaffed. Imagine how much good you can do donating only 5 years of a 30-plus year career to that. It only takes one spark to start a fire. So dedicating your career to making that difference could truly be the life-saving change we need to see in the world. And lastly, as always, here are the references. I like to include the reference slides so that you all can do further reading if you desire, and also be able to see that the stats and things that we pulled within this presentation, they are from credible sources, academic, peer-reviewed journals and things such as that. Thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time.